Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you a video just like the one I shared 2 years ago, but I have even more detailed information this time around on how you can get free rescued food. What does rescued food mean? Salvaged food? How can you get it for free? I hope you stay tuned. Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be direct. I'm going to go right to the point. We're not going to go with a whole bunch of different fluff in this video because a lot of you clicked on this video to know how you can get free food. Now, I am going to go into great detail in this video. This video is going to be an instructional video, and I'm also going in great detail so I can give people the link to this video because they're going to be asking me throughout this summer when they see I have salvaged food and I have rescued food. Now, some of these words are words that I have pretty much come up with because I'm trying to describe a situation that I am doing when it comes to food. I am passionate about food. I am passionate about keeping food out of landfills. I am very passionate about teaching people ways that they can get free food. But first, we're going to go with the don'ts. I'm going to go into great detail on the do's and the don'ts, and then for those that are really interested in what I am doing with my life and my life outside of YouTube and my volunteer work, I'm going to go into that. With that all being said, let's get started. So the don'ts. We're going to start with the don'ts because I need to be very thorough. I need to explain myself extremely well, because this is an instructional video and I want to make sure that there's no loopholes or no places where people can there's no loopholes or people can say I said certain things when I didn't say it. So I'm going to say it extremely elementary for everyone. Number one is don't do these things. Do not go to a food pantry if you don't need to. Let me get that straight one more time. Do not go into a food pantry if you don't need the food. Number two, do not lie to the food pantry and tell them that you have a large family when you don't. Number three, don't tell a food pantry that you are picking up for a family when you're not. All of these things are not honest. It's dishonesty, and I have nothing to do with dishonesty in my videos because I want you to know that you can get free food in certain areas, and we're going to go into that in just a moment. So those are just normal don'ts. Don't do those things. Don't do it in a way that you are not being honest and truthful. Here are the things that you can do. In everybody's area, they have food pantries. Now, this information is specifically usually for church-based pantries. If you have a government-based pantry, oftentimes they won't allow you to pick up food that was going to be discarded because a government pantry has a lot of rules and regulations, the same as a grocery store. But church pantries do not have those regulations, and so things can be different for them. I did a video 2 years ago where I explained, and I went online and I showed different states. I picked random states and random cities. What you can do is you can put into the Google and you can search random cities or cities in your area that have food pantries. What you can do then is you can call them food pantries and specifically say to them, I am not in need of food, but if you have any food that you plan on throwing away, I would love to take that food and I would love to preserve it. 9 times out of 10, if they have food that they do throw away, they will be more than happy to give it to you. So let me get that straight one more time. When you contact a food pantry, You explain to them that you do not need the food if you don't need it. Of course, if you do need food, go to those pantries. But explain to them that you are looking to preserve food, or you're looking for food that may be going to be thrown away. If it's still edible yet, that you would love to take that and you would love to use it for your family. I have done a video on this, and I helped hundreds of people. I can't even begin to explain all of the emails I've got from people that said that they followed my instructions and how blessed they were. With that being said, I need to say this once again. This is individually different for every person. I am not coming on here and telling you that yes, you will be able to get all the free food that you want with this method. Because I don't know your city, I don't know your state, I don't know the circumstances in your neighborhood and your community, but in our community, we have lots of food pantries from churches. Right now where I'm sitting in a 6-mile radius, we have 5 food pantries, 5 of them. And what happens is with food pantries, when you have a lot of them, they give food away, but sometimes they get food that they can't give away, and then they throw it away. This video is all about recycling food and rescuing food that was going to be thrown away. This is not about getting food from the pantry or taking from people that need it. I think I explained myself extremely well, but I do have an update for all of you because there is another source where you can get rescued food, salvaged food for free, and that is produce auctions. Let me show you. You're going to be seeing in my videos some videos of me using salvaged food. And once again, I have a whole case of cherry tomatoes that are organic. This came from a food produce auction. Now, those of you who live in the city, you may not have this, but those that live in the country, there are produce auctions that happen every single week. Here in our area, I know of 3 of them. And one is on a Tuesday, one is on a Wednesday, and one is on a Friday. Now I'm gonna give you exclusive information, insider tips on how you can get free food from the produce auction. So let's get started in this part of the video. A produce auction is simply that. It is produce and they auction it off to the highest bidder. So you will have maybe 50 to 100 different sellers, and then you have maybe 100 to 200 different buyers. Most likely, a lot of the times they will sell their produce by the skid. And then you have the sellers that have farm markets and they will buy it. But at the end of the produce auction, you are left with, there is lots of food that would not sell. Either the buyers got all of the food that they needed and they didn't need any more, or maybe they thought the food wasn't fresh enough, or maybe it was close to expiration and they didn't think it would last long enough at the markets. Sometimes what they would do is they will sell that food by the skid or break it down by the box, and they will sell that food for 10 cents on the dollar. But many times nobody's interested, and then they have food for free. And that is where you can get some food for free. But you have to wait to the end of the produce auction. And sometimes that can go into the evening. The auction in our area on Tuesdays, you have to wait till 8 o'clock at night, and whatever is left, lots of times they have it for free. Here is another thing that I need to explain to all of you. I hope you have a pen and paper because this is really detailed. I have everything on this video because I will share with you at the end of this video what I've been doing for the last 4 years. So what you need to understand is this. If you call your food pantry or you go to the produce market and they have free food, especially with the food pantry, what you need to understand is if you call them and you tell them that you would like to have leftover food, if they're going to throw it away, you need to take what they offer you. Let me repeat that again. If you call the food pantries and you ask them if they have any food that was going to be thrown away, and they say, yes, we have this for you, you need to take that food. You cannot stand at the at the pantry and go like this. You cannot do this. You cannot say, well, I want this, I don't want this, I want this, I don't want this. That's rude. You can't do that. If they call you and say, we have this food, you need to take it all, then you need to be prepared to dealing with the food that you asked for. So if you have chickens, that's a wonderful opportunity. But if you're living in an apartment and you don't have trash service and things like that, you please understand, you can't go to a food pantry, waste their time by picking and choosing what you want. And that is where it comes in, because with me, I was getting carloads of food. I was handing food out by the hundreds of pounds. But it got to the point for me, I had so much food, even I couldn't handle it all. So you need to understand all that. If they give you food, you have to accept it. That means you gotta sit through it and go through it. And you need to go, okay, this is good, bad, good. Okay, this is all good. This one here is bad. It takes hours of work, but you have free food. So that is extremely important, that when you do contact a food pantry and you do ask for thrown away food, what they offer you, you don't pick and choose. Or you don't go in the food pantry and say, I'll only take this, but I'll take this and this and this. That is just too troublesome. Food pantry people are overworked. They're all overworked because it is such a busy time in our lives, because there are hundreds of people coming for free food that need the food. But still, lots of times there's food that's left over. Ever since I can remember, I was very passionate about food and seeing food not being wasted. As a daughter of a family that was very highly involved in missions and going to the different mission fields, especially of Haiti, I've seen firsthand what starvation and the hunger can do for people. But I also know, living in the United States of America, we have a lot of food, and we have a lot of food that's being thrown away. I got heavily involved with rescuing food that was going to be thrown away, not food pantry food, but food that was going to be thrown away. And I thought to myself, how can we make a difference? How can we get rid of this? I started getting involved with various community efforts. I'm not just involved in one, I'm actually involved with four community efforts where we are taking food that was normally going to be thrown into the landfill, and we are actually helping people, feeding them one person at a time. And so by doing this, my eyes have really been opened up. Now 90% of the food that we are able to rescue and give to the people have been saved, but we still have 10% of that food that we simply run out of people that are willing to work on the food. Even in food pantries and places like that, lots of times people will pick and choose. Even when they need the food, they will pick and choose, and if they see something that doesn't look quite nice, they just pass it on by. I am trying to educate people and let them know that, listen, if you have a package of food that looks like this, and you have one or two rotten ones, the package of food is still good, just remove the rotten ones. I am passionate about that, and I have been teaching people now for 4 years on doing so. In the past, I shared with you all specific places that you can go to. I am no longer able to do that because of the volatile and the very vile online world that we live in. I need to keep the safety of all of these different resources and communities private. Unfortunately, I need to do that because we live in a world where people have become a menace to society. And so I cannot share freely like I used to, but I want to give this disclaimer once again, once and for all, because I'm never going to give this disclaimer again. I am not taking food from the food pantry, food that people wanted. This food is rejected food that people would not take, and it was going into the landfill. So when you see me working on rejected food, when you see me working on, I call it rescued food, that is food that I got freely that was just about ready to go into the dumpster, and I was the last person to take it because nobody else wanted it. I think I was really clear on that. But I am not able to rescue as much food as I used to. Simply, it's just too much. I can't save the planet, but I can help people save the planet. I think I went as detailed as I possibly can. So there are places like food pantries that you can call and see if they have food that was going to be thrown away. Oftentimes they will put you on a list and they will call you. And working with food pantries, I actually was partly in charge of a food pantry. I do not own a food pantry. Nobody owns food pantries. That is usually a community or a church or a sponsorship. But I was partly in charge of it 2 years ago, but it got so demanding for me, I absolutely could not do it all with having to work two separate jobs that are full-time. But I am still heavily involved in rescuing food in many different communities in different ways and different corporations. And what we like to do is we have a network. So we call corporations and we tell them, hey, what do you do with your food that is past expiration? And then we have a network where we take them to the warehouse, and then that warehouse takes it to different churches, and it's like the hands and feet of Jesus, because we're going out into the community and we are spreading gospel of Jesus, and also we are sharing this free food with people. So it all starts with the big corporations, and what they do is they trickle it down to this big warehouses, and what they do is they trickle it down into all of these different places. But there's still a lot of food that was going to be thrown away. I do understand in some states they don't throw away food, and that is amazing. In California, for instance, they have laws that protect that they do not throw food away. Here in Pennsylvania, we don't have those laws. So there is a lot of food that is being thrown away. If you go to places like New Jersey and places like that, oftentimes you won't have the abundance of food depending on your area. You also can go to farm markets and ask them if you have any food that you can no longer sell. If you would want to give me some of that food, I would be more than happy to use it for our family. And many family-owned businesses will love to do that for you. It just depends on the person and how passionate they are about keeping food from being thrown away. I hope you're going to enjoy my videos. I'm going to share with you very unusual foods. That was all salvaged, and that was all food that I rescued from different places. It's not just one place, it's different places. And they know me as Mother Teresa of reclaimed and recycled food. But I'm only doing it in small portions now. To those of you who I have helped in a tangible way and I have got to meet through the years, I thank you so much. And I really enjoy being able to volunteer a lot of work. I have volunteered a lot of work every single month, countless hours, countless physical work, because it is a lot of physical work. It's a lot of lifting heavy pallets of food to these organizations and to these warehouses. And I continue to do that because that is my off the internet, and that is my calling, and that is what I enjoy doing. I very much enjoy doing that and helping people. I hope that I helped you out. If you have any questions, you can email me or you can ask me in the comments below. I think I pretty much explained everything, and I hope you took notes. If you are in need of food and you really need food, there are many pantries and many places that can offer you food. Now, as far as fresh produce, that is a hit or miss with these food pantries. It just all depends on where you live. Unfortunately, it does really depend on where you live. But please, if you are in need of food, contact your local food pantry. They're all very kind and loving, and that's what they're there for. But if you don't need the food and you're just looking to reclaim some food, make sure you specifically tell them that. And they most likely will be able to help you out. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. I also want to say, if you are financially able to, These food pantries really need your donations because sometimes the food, even if it's rescued food, they will have to pay the trucking cost. In other words, even if they can get the food for free, they oftentimes have to pay the trucking fee to get the food trucked to the different places. If you have money, it would be amazing if you could donate your funds to these local pantries. Help out and support your local pantry, the one nearest to you. I love to not only give my time, but I also support our pantries here locally and giving a love offering. It's always tax deductible and it can help hundreds.